Thank you for tuning in to Do You Believe in Destiny? My name is DestinyRaven. So in Canadian news this week, we got a new finance minister. Jim Flaherty, current finance minister, has resigned, stepped down. And of course, he's being replaced by the natural resources minister. Now, the reason why he stepped out of the government position, he states, is not due to his health, but due to he wants to get work in the private sector. After 12 years in Afghanistan, costing over 160 soldiers' lives and mentally and physically injuring thousands of soldiers, the rest of Canadians' troops return home from Afghanistan. That ends a 12-13-year mission where Canada and the U.S. was there to help the government overthrow the Taliban and Al-Qaeda and establish a democratic government for the Afghanistani people. Now, of course, we saw it in the Vietnam War as well. When soldiers return home, of course, they, post-traumatic stress disorder, they see and hear things that, really messes them up. And when they come home, their lives aren't the same. And I hope that the Canadian government here is, going to get their act together when it comes to our veterans and take care of them before they end up in jail. It seems like that's what the government only wants is, them to, not help them. And then when they act out, throw them in jail. Well, we need to address this before it happens. They sacrificed a lot for Canada, and now it's time for Canada to repay that favor back for them. And in worldwide news, the Malaysian airliners presumed hijack by the pilots. They found new evidence that, of course, they figured that the pilots hijacked this aircraft. Now, it's been missing since March 8th. Near Malaysia area. Of course, Canada, the States, Australia, France, everybody's joining in the search for this aircraft. Now, no debris has been spotted yet, so we still hope that, the passengers are safe, and but the world's still looking for this aircraft. So, at first they thought that the plane crashed, but then as the new evidence came out, they determined that it was hijacked, and they have no clue. They don't, no terrorist groups are claiming responses. So it's one of those weird things where a plane goes missing and no one knows why. And of course, there's over 200 people aboard, and 2 of them are Canadians. So if those hijackers, haven't crashed the plane, we hope that everybody's safe there, and that this conflict gets resolved really fast. And also in Russia, Crimea has voted 97% in siding with Russia. So of course now the big G8 leaders want to kick Russia out of the G8 group, and they want to impose more sanctions. Now, there has been lots of sanctions placed on Putin and high-ranking Russian officials. They want to place even more sanctions on this, but Crimea did vote. They did vote in favor of Russia. So I think we need to leave that alone, and let Crimea become Russia, and Ukraine, the rest of it just kind of that way, Russia that way. But that's what I think personally. But that's sort of what's going on in Russia there. And now we have seen over Facebook the new trend of posting makeupless selfies, which actually was intended for the awareness of cancer. But it's being taken for another great purpose, to help boost self-esteem for females. I saw a lot of beautiful girls with no makeup and lots of pictures. I couldn't do the challenge myself, but I definitely support its 2 causes. First of all, cancer awareness, as well as building female self-esteem in this age where beauty is seen by how much makeup you wear or how you look. So it definitely takes a great cause for both ends as well. And in news, Westboro Baptist, who we all know is a church that likes to go picket funerals of members of LGBT, Fred Phelps, the founder of this wretched church, has passed away, I think, at 85. Now, of course, like I said, Westboro Baptist is known to picket soldiers, firefighters, that sort of, public servants that are gay, spreading their messages of hate about how God, hates people, and just being a pain in the neck, really, at the end of the day. But we all know that, this church is one extreme on the other side. The leader is gone now. So one less hateful person in this world, I guess. And for last on the news, there was a couple weeks ago, a Coburg man was arrested because what had been happening was these group of people, kept banging on his window and doors at, between 9 and 12 o'clock at night. Of course, when he had a family trying to sleep and things like that. So the one night he had enough, he grabbed a baseball bat, went after him. Didn't, hurt anyone, just kind of smashed the mirror on one of the cars, told the guys to get out of the car. And of course the police were called. Now he's being charged with assault and possession of a weapon. And of course he did talk to the police, he did tell the police that this was happening. And it kept on happening. So quite honestly, I don't think this guy should get charged with anything. These little bastards, disturbing his family at those late hours of the night. He didn't hurt anybody, he just was trying to make a point, wanting them to stop. So there's been a big outcry on this one here on Facebook I've seen. And let's hope the judge sees that, if this guy, gets charged and gets convicted, that's his whole life gone. These kids, a slap on the wrist, misdemeanor fines. So let's just hope that, that this guy doesn't get, charged and convicted, that they'll just say, well, okay, we understand next time, But he did say he had the police there. He tried calling the police and things like that. So sometimes I think you do have to take the law into your own hands. It seems like the police forces around here are bent on corruption and power, yet they won't help people like in this situation, and of course causing people to take the laws in their own hands. For the most part, I don't agree with taking the law in your own hand, but if the police aren't going to do anything, then take the law in your own hand. You got to do what you got to do, right? So that's just about it for news I wanted to talk about. Now what you're going to see next are pictures of Pompeii. Pompeii was a city that was buried by a volcano, Mount Vesuvius, 79 AD actually. Covered the whole town of Pompeii and Herculaneum both. And so what you're going to see is pictures of actually the plaster casts of the people they found from Pompeii, as well as the wreckage. And then you're going to see pictures of the movie. It was a fairly decent movie. I just saw the movie. I really liked it. Power of the volcano, though, it really, like I said, it buried 2 whole cities within a day. People didn't have time to escape or anything like that. So those are going to be some pictures there. And of course, if you haven't seen the movie, I definitely recommend checking it out. Very, very good movie. Okay, so we're up to our weekly Arrow review. This week I'm reviewing episode 16, Suicide Squad. Now this is an episode mostly about Diggle. He's been recruited into the Suicide Squad. Now the Suicide Squad is put together by Amanda Waller, and basically it's a group of criminals who do Black Ops missions and get lighter sentences for their service. The reason why John Diggle was recruited is because back when he was in Afghanistan, he ended up saving this cartel's life, and now they have to go in to this cartel's place and get this chemical that's in the basement. And also we see in this episode Oliver actually going back 2 episodes ago when he finds out that Deathstroke, Slade Wilson's alive, kind of goes into his keeping to himself, doesn't want to bring anybody else in. But that all changes. He finally lets Sarah help him, and he actually goes to Amanda Waller from the Suicide Squad to try to help track Deathstroke here. Now, of course, in this episode as well, you see that John Diggle has a couple of actually heart-to-hearts with Deadshot. Now, if you don't remember, Deadshot was the man that murdered Diggle's brother. And in season 2, one of the earlier episodes, Diggle's ex-girl or ex-wife goes to Russia for him to try to track down Deadshot, and actually gets put into jail there. So of course Diggle goes and frees her and gets mixed up with Deadshot, and that's where he learns that he doesn't miss that his brother was the actual target. Now you see him again meeting with Deadshot again in this episode. Now you see that there is Diggle's working on his forgiveness for Deadshot, and actually makes him see that he's got a daughter that's worth living for. So it's a very, very interesting episode here. Just the interaction between Diggle and Deadshot, how you see Diggle's forgiveness is starting to come through on that. And of course we saw what happens when somebody in the Suicide Squad tries to veer off of what they're supposed to, as in shrapnel. Those implants are implanted, and they are basically murdered if you don't stay on the mission. So yes, they do have this bit of freedom, but it does come with a price that if you deviate from the mission, that you will die. And of course Diggle sees this, and Diggle realizes that yes, they may be criminals, but they are still human lives, and he's not impressed with the way disposal of these people happen. So that's just a little about the Suicide Squad and Arrow. Next week, Arrow is actually going to have, it's called the Birds of Prey, and it's going to have the Huntress returning, so I'm really looking forward to seeing the return of the Huntress here, squaring off with Canary. Now, I just want to take a moment to say thank you for watching my show. If you haven't already subscribed, please do, and we'll see you again here next weekend. So take care and have a great one.